Hi guys, this is Sean from the Technovative Junkies group, here to give you our Solve for X proposal. All the members in our group are composed of Ashton, Danielle, James, myself, and Suyab. Here we're going to discuss, we're going to go over the problem and solution of our proposal. We're going to go over some key points, the implementation of the plan, the stakeholders, and the funding, and measuring success, and finally the conclusion. The problem. Currently, waste collection is inefficient. Waste collection is very flawed and outdated. Every other system that we have, whether it's electricity, or the water we receive, plumbing, the roads that are built, every infrastructure has been upgraded. The current waste collection system is something that has not been upgraded ever, practically, since they have upgraded the trucks. So this is definitely something that needs to be looked at and needs to be taken care of. Also, waste collection per capita is also increasing. If you look at the average American produces about 4.36 pounds of waste per day. If you look at our European counterparts, they produce about 2.6 pounds per day. This chart right here is an excellent representation of how much waste we actually go through. This is actually a collaboration between World Bank and the EPA as well. So that's why it's also in kilograms. But you can see that the United States is one of the leaders in waste. So this is definitely something that we have to look at, and this is a growing problem we do have to take care of. Also, human population is growing. That is a big key to our waste problems that we are having. We are growing as a world exponentially. Our population is on a rise, and we are using more and more uh, things than we ever have before. We're definitely a world of consumers. So just the amount of waste that we go through is just astounding. Or each year we go through about 1.3 billion tons of waste. That's expected to go up to about 2.2 billion tons in 2025. That's just astronomical. And we're just soon going to be running out of landfills. I mean, our landfills are growing in size, but we're going to be running out of space very soon. Even shipping, a lot of countries do ship waste to other countries to process it there and store it. So it definitely is an issue that we have to look at. And another thing is recycling is not the norm. We recycle about 2% of our waste, which is ridiculous for how much that we actually go through. We should be recycling more. Our implementation plan. How we choose to implement this plan is definitely something that's outside of the box. We are well aware that there would be a lot of pushback at first from people, but you know what? Things don't change unless people really go outside their box sometimes, and this is definitely going to be one of those. But we think this will revolutionize the world, to be quite honest. Our plan, what it is as you can see in the picture in the upper right corner, there's 4 containers. These are actually recycling and trash containers set up in Germany. This is something that we want to do here. We want to have 4 containers, but most likely bigger, a little bit bigger than these, set up in neighborhoods. So just like you have in your traditional apartment that has trash and recycling containers, usually you're going to have these in your neighborhood. So instead of a truck coming to your house and picking up your trash, you're going to just wheel this down to one of these and put your trash in it. One container, the first container would be paper and plastic. The second is going to be glass. The third would be wood and metals. And finally, the last one would be biodegradables. Underground, what's going to happen is once you put your trash into one of these containers, is the trash is going to travel on a conveyor belt underground. This is kind of the bread and butter of our whole idea. We've gone through different materials that we'd use, different ideas. We've even mulled over using air vacuum tubes and stuff, but ultimately this would be an ultimate idea. As you can see in the photo on the bottom right, they use it for many heavy objects, such as rocks when they're doing mining and stuff like this. So it's definitely durable, durable, materials and an idea. Um, and each conveyor belt would actually have a specific destination that it would travel to. So you would have each um, different trash object or recycle object that would go to a different plant. So you can have, your bottles going to a bottling plant, such as these workers are working on right now, glass going to, glass facility, and, corresponding. Um, Now, the kicker to our whole project is going to go that food waste, and biodegradables are going to go to a methane processing facility. This is extremely key to our idea because we want this idea to be self-sustained. Once it goes to this facility, the food will be transferred into a methane gas. Once it is there, the methane gas will be used to power everything, whether it's the recycling plants and down to the conveyor belts themselves. We do not want any additional stress placed on the world or the environment. The whole purpose of this was to get trucks off the road, less CO2 emissions, and a self-sustained environment. And this is the bread and butter to our idea. Who is involved in the funding involved? Now, the stakeholders for this project is going to be everybody. It's going to be every single citizen, every consumer, every business, everybody in the state, federal level. This is going to affect everybody. This is going to be something that is going to change, honestly, our society as we know it. There's not going to be a single person that's going to be not affected by this. Whether it's by taking out your trash, whether it's the prices you see that could potentially lower from the amount of recycled goods that can increase. There's many different ways that people will see results from this and will always be affected by this. Now, when it comes to the funding of a project of this magnitude, when you are changing the infrastructure, it's gonna be a high startup cost initially, but if we use taxpayer dollars to begin with, any investors that would want to contribute to something like this that's going to change the environment, any nonprofit organizations, anything would help. Just the cost alone, honestly, would pay for itself very quickly because right now, the U.S. alone, about the amount of stuff that goes to landfill, about 50% of the waste that goes to landfills is recyclable. Out of that 50% that's recyclable, we only recycle 2%. That 2% that we recycled saved taxpayers $100 billion. So if we increase that number more, we're gonna get money back on our investment almost right away. That money we're gonna get back by being able to sell for paper, plastics, metals to companies that could use that. The project would pay for itself very quickly. Measuring success of a system. With our project, there's going to be a couple ways that we will be able to measure success very quickly. The first one is going to be the methane being produced to power our plants and the conveyor belts. This is something that's currently not being done. The plants that are being used right now, the waste plants, the recycling plants, are not self-sufficient. With our idea, the plant will be self-sufficient. This will be an automatic success. Another way of showing success is going to be the increase of recycled materials that we're going to have. If we go over the 2% of recycled materials that we're only recycling now, that's automatically going to be success. And finally, one thing that could be a hurdle or would show great success is the policies that would be implemented by the government. If we have a lot of backup from the government and a lot of enthusiasm and energy put into this project, should be a success right there, and that will be something that will make this project go smoother and will be something that will allow the implementations to last a very long time. Finally, in conclusion, after you guys have viewed our proposal and our presentation, you can see that we really want to change the face of how we view waste management and recycling. We want to get rid of our system that we have now, get rid of this terrible system, and create a system that's self-sustained and also one that is revolved around recycling. If we can really increase recycling, we can definitely change the future. And that is something that I and all of us, I feel we all believe that we need to change. Um, if we do not take care of our problems now, we're gonna hurt the future generations. And if we can take care of this now, we're going to create a better quality of life for us and our children, and overall better society. Now, that's the conclusion, guys. Thank you very, very much for listening to me talk through this whole thing, and hopefully, you guys have some good feedback for us. I can't wait to read it in the comments, and thank you guys very much.